All right, this is an audiovisual study guide for Chapter 15 of Dana Harris's Introduction to Biblical Greek Grammar. Participle morphemes. Like present active participles, aorist active masculine or neutral participles also use the participle morpheme, nu tau, nt. The verb components occur before the participle morpheme, whereas case endings are suffixed onto participle morpheme. Tense-formatives, because there is little or no difference between the present and aorist tense stems, first aorist active and middle forms add the tense-formative, sigma alpha, sa, to the aorist tense stem. This is true for both indicative and non-indicative forms. So you've got the aorist tense stem, lu, tense-formative sa, the participle morpheme, nu tau, the case ending os, giving you the inflected form, lu santos. Temporal adverbial participles. They answer the question when. It's going to agree in number and gender with the subject of the finite verb. It modifies. In general, a present temporal participle indicates action that occurs at the same time as the verb that the participle modifies. An aorist temporal participle may indicate an event antecedent to the verb. So it's generally going to indicate action that occurs at the same time, but it may indicate an event that happens before the finite verb. Paragon, Aiden, Luin, Tontu, Alphaiu. Passing by, he saw Levi, the son of Alphaeus. So paragon is the participle, and it's a temporal participle saying that as he was passing by, at the same time, he saw Levi. Dikai othentes un ek pisteos erenen ekhomen proston theon. Therefore, having been justified by faith, we have peace with God. Dikai othentes is the participle, and this one's indicating an event that is antecedent to the verb. We have peace because we have been justified. So in that case, antecedent. Causal adverbial participles. The adverbial function of a causal participle answers the question why. Causal and temporal functions often overlap in meaning, especially with aorist participles. Eucharistumen, klusantes ten pistin humon en Christo Jesu, kai ten agapen en ekete es pantas tus agios. We give thanks because we have heard of your faith in Christ Jesus and the love that you have for all the saints. Klusantes would be the causal adverbial participle, because we have heard. Purpose adverbial participles. They also answer the question why, but instead of giving a reason, this participle indicates the purpose for the action of the verb that the participle modifies. In English, purpose is often indicated by the infinitive. So whenever you translate these, you're often going to use the infinitive, or whenever you read translations, they're often going to use an infinitive. It's not uncommon to find commentaries that describe the same participle as either causal or purpose or both. Apistelen auton ilogunta humas. He sent him for the purpose of blessing us. Or a less literal translation that uses the infinitive would be he sent him to bless us. Instrumental participles answers the question how, indicates or explains how the action of the modified verb occurred. There can be an overlap with a temporal understanding. Hemes katengolomen tuntes panta anthropon kai didascontes panta anthropon. We proclaim him by admonishing everyone and by teaching everyone. So, thetuntes and didascontes are instrumental participles. You could translate, we proclaim him while admonishing everyone and while teaching everyone. So you could view this as a temporal participle. Genitive absolute participles. An adverbial participial construction where the subject of the genitive clause is not grammatically related to the rest of the sentence, but logically or semantically related to the sentence. Often it supplies additional information about the circumstances accompanying the main verb. So an example in English, all things considered, we decided to proceed with the sale. In Greek, this construction features a substantive or a pronoun in the genitive case, usually, and an anarthrous participle in the genitive case that agrees with the number and gender of the substantive or pronoun in the genitive case. 3, the entire construction is usually placed at the beginning of the sentence. A genitive case participle cannot directly modify a finite verb. Only a nominative case participle can do that, so that's key. You're seeing a genitive case participle, you need to remember that cannot directly modify a finite verb. You might be looking at a genitive absolute participle. So, kai porumenon auton entre odo epentis pros auton. And while they were going on the road, someone said to him. So, and while they were going on the road is a genitive absolute participle. It does not directly relate to tis pros auton. Someone said to him that can stand on its own, but the kai poromenon is the participle in the genitive case, and it's modifying auton. Tauta de auton lalunton autos este en meso auton kai lege autois erenen umin. But while they were speaking these things, he himself stood in their midst and was saying to them, peace be with you. Ek blethintos tu daimoniu elelesen hoc hophos. After the demon was cast out, the mute man spoke. Ek blethintos tu daimoniu elelesen hoc hophos. After the demon was cast out, so got the genitive absolute there, and the mute man spoke. It's the finite verb. The two do not relate grammatically because the genitive participle cannot modify the finite verb. But you see how they relate logically or semantically. That's it for chapter 15. You need to be able to parse, translate, and understand the use of these participles. And you've also got a fair number of participle paradigms to learn.